Hey, I'm Birdy Lee.
This is Tasha Lianne.
I'm Jimbonus Beats, and we are here today on
Corner Conversations.
Got the ladies with us today here in the new content we're putting together for Across the Street, trying something a little different. We're going to have little conversations about being an adult, great humans we're going to have on the show, starting with all of us only. We aspire to be better humans, of course, and as part of that, we learn through other people's experiences and information, and that's what we're going to try and do is just share some of that with y'all. The one thing we first had all in common, we're all parents. It's hard being a parent sometimes. Struggles of being a parent, and we're all kind of single parents at the same time, too. So, who wants to start? Who wants to tell us about their experience of being a single parent? Just dive right into it.
I can start. I got two kids. I have a teenage daughter, 16, and a 10-year-old son. So, a big age difference, but it's totally different, I would say, to raise a boy than it is a girl. But with being a single parent, there's definitely a lot of things you have to go through, alone. And you got to figure out, because, there's so many parenting books, but they really don't teach you, because every kid is different. And every situation is different. So, yeah, it's been an interesting experience. Definitely learned more about myself being a single parent.
Yeah, well, you know what they say, it takes a village to raise one child. So I think they should maybe make more groups for women or men that want to connect with others and have more group activities for them so they can learn better social skills, because it's hard when you're single parent and that's all they kind of know. And you want to go ask hey, Jimbo, what did you do when your kid was 10?
I had a nice conversation actually with someone recently. My son was involved in the Little League program. And some of the parents and the children that we met through the Little League program all these years later are still people that we deal with on a daily basis as part of that village you were talking about. So being a single parent and having other people know that is important as well. Because I was surprised at how many people are willing to help by them just knowing, you might have to work till 5. Your kid may need a ride home after practice. I get it. So that was a good one.
Yeah. Parents working together. That's what I would love more than ever, especially for birthday parties and holidays. Knowing that a person is a single parent, it's almost like you don't want to say it, but it's missing something. So by having support of other family members or friends around and utilizing their children to build a force for our children, for their futures, that's what I hope for as a single parent. But some of my struggles are playing sports, teaching my son how to play football. My son's 10 now, and he wants to learn how to play baseball. And, he's okay with soccer, but we end up not going with K9 this year. So we're going to be trying to branch out to more practices, more teams, more stuff than just random parents teaching the kids,
I totally feel you with the learning sports. There's certain things I just can't teach my son because I don't know about them. I'm not familiar with them. I'm his mom, not his dad. So yeah, when my son was in baseball, there was I felt kind of ashamed because we went to baseball and he didn't really know much about it and I couldn't tell him anything. So I relied on his coach to do that. And he did do a really good job and he was really there for him and helped him out. But, having those different people in your kids' lives is definitely important. So that's what I've been doing recently, reaching out to more people like Birdy Lee and Jimbo with the kids, because he has a teenager and Birdy Lee has a son, my son's age too. So yeah, just connecting with each other is really helpful.
Yeah,
as a parent.
There's recovery units, there's alcohol, AA meetings and stuff, but I wish there was more single parent kind of recovery things, or even teaching one another had a co-parent with someone that you don't really get along with or you used to have like something going on with. But for the future, it's like you want to be able to co-parent, but you're really like, I don't know how. I'm just going to try to do it by myself.
I could see all those situations being beneficial right there, especially like I have an older son, and not knowing how to manage my emotions that well back then, co-parenting definitely wasn't an option. Wasn't ready for all that. So that would have been great to have some resources maybe for young parents too, even older ones, if you're in the situation. And I don't know if most people are thinking like that when you're in the middle of a custody battle or, she won't let me see my kid situation. So, but definitely speaking to other parents, though, has been super helpful. Tasha and I have had many conversations about the teenage. Our kids are like a couple weeks apart. We
Yeah,
say,
a couple weeks apart.
yeah.
Yeah.
So she's in the same position as I am for some things, and I've definitely asked you some questions lately that have been like, as a parent, like up against the wall type questions, like what's the next move, and it's refreshing to hear other parents say, I don't freaking know either.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we're all winging it, just choosing what's best for our kids. And, again, it's going to be different across the board because our kids, everybody needs different things. So,
Has there ever been a time, like as a single parent, where you've had to like, no, I gotta work, but it's son's oboe recital tonight, or have you ever had one of those moments yet where you've had to like prioritize adulting over your kids?
Yes, I had to do that a lot of times now as a single parent. And it's like, I wish, someone could at least be there if I can't. But a lot of the times, these employers have problems with people taking off for personal reasons, medical reasons. And before, I would be able to volunteer to go to my son's school and help out. And then now it's like, oh, I have to work. Yeah, they're not going to let me take off, because they're having a party or they're having parent-teacher nights and I can't get off because there's no one to cover me. I feel like a lot of the time, this time with the kids is like kind of special and it just flies by because you have to work and you have to have your brother or your sister or your mom, their grandmas come and pick them up and take them to their appointments or whatever they need.
Is that like back to that like original thinking of like, and I feel like being an 80, I was a latchkey kid that was like sent home after school. I was there for 3-4 hours by myself before my parents both came home from work, and I felt like we were doing okay. That same scenario today just doesn't seem the same. Like it seems like both parents are having to work longer and harder for less for their children. It seems like. And then the kids are developing at a different way or rate that's completely different than I feel like we were growing up.
It's completely dysfunctional. And then it's like that's what they teach their kids too. Like, oh, sorry, I can't help raise you. I've got to work all day. Like, sorry, I can't go to your appointments. I got to work all day. Sorry, I can't make it to your competition. I got to work.
so recently I've been prioritizing my parenting and my children with my job or other obligations, and it's hard because they do give me pushback on it. It's like, well, this is your job. I'm like, I'm a mother first and foremost. So it's, part of it, sometimes I'm just like stuck in this position because I don't have other people to help me out with my kids, to call if I need someone to make sure that my son goes to bed on time so he wakes up in the morning and goes to school. Like, I don't have those options because that's like, make sure my son goes to bed. That means you have to be at my house at bedtime, and that's, you don't live with me. So, yeah, it's been real rough being a single working parent, and trying to prioritize like your kids because you are the one, we are the ones raising these children to be parts of society. So like Birdy Lee said, if we're teaching them that we have to prioritize our working so we can pay the bills over taking care of them, that's what they're also going to in turn teach their kids. I mean, I think that's what our parents probably were teaching us.
Yeah.
And so that's where we are. But yeah, so it's like a weird situation because the society is not built for single parents. to thrive.
Have you found yourself as parents like holding yourself up to a standard that like is a good parent to you? Like I always wanted both my boys to graduate. I felt like if they graduated high school that I would have been like the best parent that I could have been. They would have been one step better than me. You know what I mean? And do you have any of those standards that you hold that you're hoping your kids can hurdle that you weren't able to, that'll make you feel better about your efforts as being a parent?
I know I do, but I've also had to learn that I gotta have some wiggle room because sometimes that's just not gonna happen. It's not gonna work for what their life is turning out to be, you know? So, yeah, that's been something, a very big learning curve for me is having grace and letting my kids decide what's best for them, but also putting in like my perspective and my, my motherly instinct of, making sure they're safe and then they're doing the best that they can and headed in a positive direction. Sometimes it's different than what I would see, but so yeah, it's hard.
How many times have we had that where we said like, "Oh, I was probably doing the same thing when I was 10 or 16 or 15 or
Yeah.
Birdie, have you feel like the crazy ways and things that we did as a kid, do you ever see those in your kid yet where you're like, "Damn it, he's kind of doing what I used to do," or like
No, I try to be there and support him, but he's a boy also, but my mom, she really wasn't there, and we didn't have no grandma or nobody at all there, so we was outside until like it got dark and the night lights came on, and then when my mom did go home, she slept all the time. I try not to do that, so I'm more attentive to him, so I try to keep him on like a good path and like, oh, make your bed in the morning, keep like, oh, you guys always gotta put your shoes over here when you get out the shower. Like, I have to say these things like for 10 years. I've been saying the same thing over and over and over again, and I'm like, you know what, I feel like I am a good mom because I realizing my mom never told me to brush my teeth. My mom never told me to make my bed. My mom wasn't even there to like feed me vegetables. She still to this day doesn't buy very much vegetables other than like tomatoes for her like burgers or sandwiches. No, I don't see her doing that. So I do feel like I'm like, okay, at least I got that down. That's different. I've tried to learn from my mom's mistakes, but
Right.
and make sure that he doesn't make the same mistakes that I did when I was younger. But I didn't have, for example, a story. I was like maybe in like 5th grade, and I seen a bunch of paint cans in my neighbor's manufactured home's garage, and I was like, oh, like I want to do some art stuff. But guess what? I got the police called on me for vandalism,
Oh,
and
no.
literally I got in trouble like throughout the whole little area that we're in, basically saying like, oh, I'm a graffitiist and oh, I'm gonna tag their house and all this stuff. And really, I was just like bored out of my mind. My mom wasn't there. No one was there.
Like
I was just playing outside.
like boundaries weren't a big
and then,
thing
no
taught
one
in your
told me.
household.
Yeah, and so
same
the
with mine.
dysfunction that I learned was like, don't ever create art because you might go to jail. But they made me repaint it all a color side. Then they got free labor out of me because I had to paint the whole shed the color evenly instead
I had a friend of mine just recently share a story with me that was kind of similar to that, saying that when you're young, you don't know any better. So like the friend of mine was invited to a friend's house, and they just happened to have a swimming pool there. And when you're a 9-year-old kid, you just don't ask if you can get in the swimming pool. You just get in the swimming pool. So they did that, and it wasn't until everybody was like, "Yo, you didn't even ask to get in the swimming pool." That has to be like a learned behavior. Someone has to be able to have told you in your life, just because there's, candy in the bowl doesn't mean you can have some. You might want to ask.
So what I learned is to give the kid the canvas instead of let them find it on their own. Give them the steps they need to, if they want to try something new. Like my son has like all the sports stuff because at least I'm gonna let him try it. I'm not gonna let him like think, oh, I can't do this, or that's hard, or oh, that looks dangerous. I'm gonna be like, hey, you should try it before you just like write it off.
I've seen you both be awesome parents in the sense that like Birdie is very awesome at like her son's a roller skate, can rollerblade. She's always very interactive with her child. They're always talking with one another. She reads to them. You and your kids are absolutely amazing, Tasha. You brought your daughter out to shows. You brought your son out to shows.
He has a lot more confidence than I did at his age, so I love that. I love to see that.
No, he's a little personality.
He has so much personality.
I got plans for him, actually. I'm telling you, we have an interview that I'm really hoping that he wants to do still.
Oh,
yeah.
He's excited as well, yeah.
Yeah, we're trying to train a junior podcaster on the show. We have a junior journalism and training kind of is what we're working on.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We'll have to see how that goes.
Yeah.
See how that goes. Okay, so being a parent's rough. Once we're done being parents, from time to time, we get chances to do things like self-care. I myself like to drink a cup of tea, edit some photos, listen to some lo-fi music. Very relaxing for me. Watch a nice podcast all by myself, maybe an hour or two quietly, no interruptions. The bath thing we talked about that we didn't record earlier, but I haven't had a comfortable bath since I was 10. That would be something I would really like to do in my self-care adventure. Been getting my eyebrows done. You can't tell at the moment. I get my hair cut frequently. Can't tell at the moment. I usually have a better beard. Can't tell at the moment. Have been buying some new clothes, taking some better care of my appearance. What about y'all? Quickly, briefly, self-care routine?
I have, since I got older, I've wore less makeup, taking care of more of my skin. I used to instead cover up my blemishes. Now I'm taking care of my skin. So washing my face, toner, some moisturizer, and then, making sure I have certain days that I do hair day, because it takes me forever to do this hair. But those are my biggest self-care days. So, lotion everything, great detangling and all that. But I love to just relax, use my heating pad for my back problems, and tea also. Love the tea. The bath thing, I would love a bath, but like Jim, I can't fit comfortably in a bathtub. We're going to find a clawfoot bathtub soon, okay? Yeah, but yeah, and then being creative and then listening to music, of course, is always self-care. What about you, Birdie?
Well, I love Suns Up Tanning Spa Wellness Clinic because in Oregon they don't get that much sun. So that place has an alternative sun for you. And I feel really good with foot detox, massage beds, working out. I go to Planet Fitness.
Yes, so do I.
And that's self-care for me. Also checking in with the doctors. And if you can't fix it yourself, then a doctor sure can, and they can refer you out to a specialist so you can get more into that, because you need to be able to not be in pain or not struggle with walking upstairs or picking up stuff. So
and advocating for your health, because some doctors won't suggest things unless you ask about
ask
them.
for another doctor if they're
them.
not fulfilling your needs, but also making sure that you are doing physical therapy every day, stretching, and drinking water. That's self-care for yourself, for you to be stronger in the future and more in shape for when to take care of your kids, or if you want to go on a trip, or if you if you can't do it in your everyday life and then you go on a trip and you're just sitting, because I'm definitely not just a sitter. I like to move around, shake it up, dance, because it's my passion. But also feeling the earth, feeling the feeling of water, the ocean, or if in a pool, bath.
Yeah, nature hikes.
Yeah, hiking.
I need
is
to do
good for
that
you.
more. It's getting sunnier out. So
Taking deep breaths also is self-care.
Paced breathing.
Yes, and so I just want you guys to stay positive out there, and every day just wake up with a positive outlook, and I swear to God, your day will go better.
I think you're right. I think in closing that we should continue to have these conversations here corner talk, right? Corner conversations.
Corner conversation.
Corner conversations, even though it is a wall, there is a corner located nearby. It doesn't really matter. But we're gonna have some conversations more often here.
We're going to be the corner of somewhere in Portland.
There you go. Maybe we can take it on the road one of these days. Yeah, we'll have it
Hey.
outside. We'll have it outside.
Yeah, and if you have any questions or want to ask a question, please leave it in the comments below.
Leave it in the comments. Make sure you like, share, subscribe. I'll leave the Instagram links for everybody. Everybody has Instagram links. Okay, so their Instagram links will be listed below for everybody here on the show. We'll try again. We're going to try. This is going to be something we'll try and do semi-frequently as much as we can in the early beginning here, and hopefully gain some traction. But if you have any suggestions for us, what you want us to talk about in the future, let us know. Other than that, any shout-outs, any goodbyes you want to say before we...
Let's just say, thanks for watching Corner Conversations.
I'll take that. We're out. See you later.